I mean, I seriously can't back them anymore. Like if you're an up and coming local band, like you gotta have a shot, because it really did open up some really big doors for us.
Sydney-based hard rock band Avalanche are coming to play Adamstown Bowling Club next Friday night. Here's the chat that we had with lead singer and bass player Stephen.
So you've got this brand new single out. It's called Arm to the Teeth. You're heading out on the road to celebrate it. Look, let's talk about the single first. Arm to the Teeth, to me, out of everything that I've heard come out of the Avalanche camp, sounds like a business card. You know, it sounds like your calling card, like everything that is great about an Avalanche show has been thrown into this one single. Was that the plan when you headed into the studio?
I mean, in a way, for sure. There was certain elements of this song that we've had. So like for instance, Veronica wrote a lot of the riffs. Obviously she's a guitarist, but she wrote a lot of the riffs for this song. And she actually wrote a lot of these riffs when she was probably like 16 years old, and she never really had any use for them, like that whole running riff that goes from the start pretty much all the way through it. She's had that, like since she was 16. We've just never been able to really find a song that it works with, like, well enough to constitute putting it into a song. And then we had that title, Arm to the Teeth, and it just all really came together in like a very short amount of time once we had those two ideas together. And yeah, it's like you said, it's like a calling card. It's like our biggest anthem sort of song that we've ever done before. You know, it's something that people can really get behind and chant, and something to fill a stadium, so to say.
Absolutely. And look, that's what I feel. You know, I also think the title Arm to the Teeth is very telling from the way you guys approach music, in your music, and heading out onto the road. I feel like you guys rehearsed, you know, which is sometimes rare with a lot of bands that, you know, play a lot. They just rely on the shows. So I feel like you guys rehearsed, and I feel like you guys are ready to take on, you know, the challenges of, you know, of the road. But before I leave the sound of the single alone, you guys didn't muck around with recording this. This was no, you know, home job in the garage. Tell me about how you chose where you were going to record it and what you feel like that decision brought to the sound that you got.
Yeah, so so we've recorded, I think, 2 EPs worth of songs before going into the recordings for these this single and the past 2 or 3 singles. And we definitely wanted to have like a proper producer actually work with us on these songs, something we've never really done before. Just have that like third opinion, sort of third, like, you know, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do this. So we actually did have like a big pre-production session with Steve James, is a very, very good producer, from based in Queensland, but he's originally from the UK. And he's worked with lots of bands that we like Airborne, Sex Pistols, you know, Screaming Jets, some of the top names in the game, you know. So so that really worked in our favor, I feel, because having someone there, like I said, we've never had that before, and I feel it definitely brought in a few elements of the songs that weren't there. And like for instance, there was at least 2 or 3 songs that we did in these recording sessions where you could tell there was something missing, and he just had that sort of missing ingredient, which really sort of helped. I'm pretty sure we approached him just on the basis of him doing the Screaming Jets sort of stuff.
Yeah, look, I feel, you know, I like the stuff beforehand as well, but I feel like there's something has definitely lifted. And as I said, that's why I think this, from the outside looking in, Arm to the Teeth serves as like a war cry for where you guys are heading. That's from the outside looking in. That's the way it feels for me.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. No, I smacked it on the head.
And you didn't stuff around with the clip either. I mean, I know you toured around Japan, but it's another thing to, you know, put such a big single, as I said, it feels like a calling card for the band. To shoot a lot of that in Japan is also, quite a decision. Has the band been drawn to Japan before, or you were just there and you decided that, this is a great place, bright lights, big city, let's shoot it here?
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, for sure. I mean, we also knew that we were running pretty like close to the next release, so we needed to get a good idea for like a video together, and it definitely worked out well that we're in Japan at the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with the way that it sort of panned out because I mean, at the time when we were on tour, it was absolute hell because you could tell we were gigging like I think it was 5 nights in a row, and then throughout the day trying to film as much stuff as we possibly could, and then we were traveling around the country at the same time as well. So it was just like it was probably the most intense schedule I've ever had to do, like my entire life. But I'm so glad that we did do it because now it's like every time I look back at that video, I just want to go back to Japan.
It's a common story for people that tour Japan. It feels like such a whirlwind, and all it does is make them long for a trip where they're not as busy to go and see it all. But because you were so busy, surely you now have a favorite convenience store food. I mean, Japanese convenies are famous the world over. So was it the egg sando? Was it a bento box? What was your favorite convenience store food?
As plain as it sounds, I was really in love with their chicken like nugget bite things they
Yeah.
had, man. Like they were so ridiculously good. They had like all these different flavors, and it's like it was like $2 for like a box of them. So you were like everything was just so cheap there. Like all the
Yeah.
food was amazing. Like and even just being able to drink at a convenience store was such an awesome experience. But in saying that, because of because of the liquor laws being so not as strict as sort of here, we actually had they like allow under 18s into the pubs and clubs there. So we had like little kids like showing up to the shows like on their dad's shoulders, and it was just insane. It was such a good trip.
Yeah, that's great, man. Now, you are heading back out on the road on the strength of this single, but I'd be remiss not to ask you before we get into the promo for that to talk about the Early Beach Band Comp. It's entries, they're calling on entries again now for the local heats, and of course, for the uninitiated, the heat winners then go on to, battle it out at the Early Beach Festival of Music, and, and then the winner is showered with some amazing prizes, which Avalanche picked up. Tell me what that did for you guys, and what why people should enter the Early Beach Band Comp.
I mean, it is a pretty funny story because like I remember Veronica had entered us into it, and like didn't even really think. I think originally she asked us to like applied to for us to play the festival, and they were like, "Do you want to play the band comp?" And we were like, "Yeah." To be honest, not really. We didn't. Like all of us were pretty much like so close to just saying, "Nah, let's not do it," because we've done many competitions before and nothing's ever really worked out. But we were like, you know what, we'll give it one shot. We'll give it one more shot, and thank God we did. It was awesome. We managed to meet Marcus, our manager from Big Apache, so we got that contact from there, who ended up getting us onto Premier Artists Booking Agency, which has just been an absolute dream. They've both been working absolute their hearts out this year for us, which has been awesome to see. And yeah, like I can start to see a lot of it eventuate now. We've got some really big things happening in the future. Like I can't go too into it, but all I'm going to say is this year and next year is going to be really big for us, and I couldn't thank our management and our team anymore for it. But that definitely all came from the crux of winning the early beach comp. And I mean, even when we went up there last year, it was just such a crazy mix of emotions. Like none of us really could like put it into words or even fathom that it was even happening until at least 2-3 weeks afterwards. And then of course we've got to go up and do it again this year, and it's going to be even better. We'll have a better spot on the lineup, and better accommodation, better all this stuff. So I mean, I seriously can't can't back them anymore. Like if you're an up and coming local band, like you gotta have a shot, because it really really did open up some really big doors for us.
Absolutely. And yeah, as you said, just one of those is one of the headline spots on one of the nights for the festival. It should be a great one this year. But let's talk about the stuff you can talk about, and that is this tour you're heading out on. You're stopping in at Adamstown Bolo on the 28th of June. So, just coming up at the end of the month. Talk to me about what, look, it's the cliche question, but what can people expect when they rock up to the Adamstown Bolo for the Avalanche show on the 28th?
So I believe that show will be doing a 2-hour set list. So we'll have quite a lot of originals, but then also chucking in a lot of covers as well. We love our covers, so we play a fair lot of them. I think last year we did a wedding where we did like 3 hours of covers, which was really interesting. It was a gothic wedding, so it was like everyone was dressed in black, and I think the two people met each other at an Iron Maiden gig, so they wanted us to play a bunch of Iron Maiden songs and all that. But yeah, we love our covers, so that is a newer sort of thing to expect at this sort of show, because generally when we do our tours it's just originals, but yeah, we're going to chuck in a fair few covers, and like I said, 2 hours of straight hard rock. It's very hard to beat that, especially nowadays. It's hard to find 3 hours of rock if you're not paying $300 or $400.
No, I'm looking forward to the show. All the information is up on the website, newcastlelive.com.au. Hey, thanks for having a chat with me this morning. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks heaps for having me. I appreciate it.